Welcome to Bianca Savich's podcast, Conscious Me Up. We're having our podcast today at Forbes Street Studios, and we have our guest today, Jake Savich.
Hello, welcome.
So today we're going to talk about access bars.
So that's
access
a topic.
bars. So just to let you know, I am an access bars facilitator, so I actually teach certified training for access bars, and I offer classes. I do have a few classes coming up. So I have one in Hunter Valley on the 8th of September, and then I have one in New Zealand on the 27th of October. And then I do them mainly through Australia, and I am expanding overseas and whatnot as well. But I guess
you're having your first one over in New Zealand.
Yes, I'm having my first one in New Zealand. That's my first international. I've been all over Australia, or most places in Australia, but my first international access bars class, so very, very exciting.
And I come on the road with I love doing the bars classes. Like, it's a one-day class.
So Jake actually, even though Jake has Guitar of Consciousness, and I'm just going to add in, we might talk about it later too, but Jake is actually doing a concert in New Zealand on the 26th of October. So if you haven't got your ticket and you're in New Zealand, get it. jakesavich.com, go buy your tickets. And if you're not in New Zealand, get a flight and go to New Zealand to buy a ticket and watch it. But yeah, so anyway, with access bars classes, Jake, whenever I have them, me and Jake actually, when we do go overseas or international, we have kind of tried to do like a tour where he does a concert the day before and then I do the bars class the next day, just so we're utilising our time and travel at the same time. But even if I'm having classes where Jake's not having an event the day before in the same town, Jake always likes to come to my bars classes. Not only does he help with the setup, with the behind-the-scenes stuff, he also contributes. He just loves the classes. He gets his bars run twice. So I think that's the main incentive for him, that he gets his bars run twice in the day. And he also contributes to the class as well, just by him being there as well, contributes to me. And also my other team members that join the bars class. There's a lot of, people don't realise that, when you're having a bars class, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens, getting the class up, advertising the class, promoting your class. And then even on the day, like, there's a lot of things you got to, print, the manuals, getting the room set up. So
though using the tools of access allows you to keep going and not hang up on that, whatever's hanging you up. I like to ask, what is access bars?
So access bars is 32 different points on the head. When you lightly touch these points, they help to release any points of view that are sticking you in those areas. So for an example, some of the points are money, control, creativity, body, sexuality, healing, time, space, communication, aging.
So let's so what do you mean? Like, these points, say the aging point, what happens when you run the bars? What happens about the aging? Or these points or those topics you brought up?
So when you're actually on that certain point, for instance, say if you're on the aging point, any points of view that you have about aging, they start to be kind of deleted from your mind. So like, when I say point of view, I mean, like, to say if you have a point of view, when I reach a certain age, I'm going to be old. So that's like a point of view that you've kind of bought from somewhere. It's not your point of view. It's just someone's told you, or you've seen in the movies, or you've seen, say, your family, when they get to a certain age, they start to look older. So then you've actually buying that's going to happen to you. So you start to clear that so that doesn't have to be relevant to you anymore. So you can actually look younger. Like, last week I was in court for a whole week with someone. They had to go to court. And all the lawyers were like talking about me to the person that was in court, and they're like, "Oh, your friend's like 20 years old," and they told me, and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome," because I'm not 20, I'm 39. But that week I looked half my age to them. So how does it get any better than that? And that's obviously from doing the bars. The less, like, for me, even for aging example, when I was a teenager, I thought when I was 30, that was old. And I actually said to my mum, Mum, I want to die at 30 because I don't want to be old. My mum, I finally gave her a heart attack when I said that to her because she's like 30. She was older than me when I said that to her. But so that was my point of view, that when you reach 30, you're old. That's it, life's ending. So, your point of view creates your reality. So when you do the bars, it helps to clear that point of view, and obviously I've changed it. So.
And also, I like to, I had a certain few people telling me, because I was always kind of been skinny. I used to have a bit of a waist. No one really noticed, but unless I took the shirt off or whatever. But I kind of had a waist before the Guitar of Consciousness. So about maybe 10 years ago. And one guy told me, he goes, oh, because he didn't know, he always thought I just had a flat stomach. And he's like, oh, once you get past 30 or once you get past a certain age or my age, you're gonna start, you're not gonna have that six pack no more. And ever since then, I've passed that age of 30, and I'm 38 or something now, and I've never, I've never bought that point of view. See, using these tools of access, the tools of access consciousness, running the bars as well, clears the points of view that anyone throws at you. So if someone like that guy, he threw that point of view at me that, okay, once you come a certain age, this is going to happen to your body. Body's going to change up. You're going to, this area is going to be bigger. This area is going to be whatever. At that stage, I'm like, oh, fuck, really? Oh. But then I was using the tools of access. I'm like, no, what will it take for that to change? What will it take for me to go beyond whatever anyone's trying to throw onto me? So when I kept asking those things, I'm like, what will it take to go beyond this? What will it take to out-create whatever this person's trying to place on my body? That didn't occur for me. I still have a six-pack. I eat whatever I want. Whatever I want, I eat, and I still have a six-pack. It's not, I don't need a six-pack. Like, I don't go out there and doing gym workout 10 hours a day to get it. No. I just, I eat what my body desires. When it's had enough, it's had enough. Like, if I get a meal, and Access Bars has really contributed to me with this. Access Bars phenomenally has contributed to you having a body that actually works. So if I have a meal and halfway through I'm done and it's feeling like it's tasting like cardboard, I stop. But people don't. Why? Because they feel bad. The restaurant's going to come over like, oh, you didn't finish your meal properly. Was there something wrong? And I've had that.
They do that though. The restaurants do say, if you haven't finished your meal, did it not taste good?
So then you feel obligated to finish your meal when it tastes like cardboard.
But the first bites, you are correct. They taste like the best food you've eaten. But then yes, once it starts to not taste as good as the first bite, that's when you have to stop.
And that only changed for me when food really started changing. Like before Access, I used to go McDonald's every day before Access. So about 10 years. And we've got someone's phone. She'll be outside. You're in trouble. Detention. So Access taught me that. What was I saying?
You're talking about you eating McDonald's every day.
See, I was eating McDonald's. See, I was eating McDonald's every day because that's what, everyone else was doing. Though when I started doing these Access Bars, this body process, and let's talk about more what Access Bars does to your body.
Well, Access Bars actually, it contributes, like even for me, when me and Jake's, just to give you a bit of a background, because like you can learn the bars, you can just have sessions on bars if you find an Access Bars practitioner. So if you do learn the bars, you become a certified practitioner, so you can actually charge for sessions, or you can just do it on your friends and family. So when me and Jake first, we actually learned the bars on each other. We learned it just to do it on each other. And what I mean we did it on each other, we did it every day. We learned this tool, and I think I just quit my job that I was in, and Jake was working on just guitar then. So we basically had time to do bars every day, and we did. We did challenges where we'd do bars like 10 days straight. Like I'll do him for an hour, he'll do me for an hour, and then we'll do that for 10 days straight. And then we'll have maybe a little break in between. You know, now we get to the point where me and Jake are doing each other 6 hours at a time. So what we do is like, and I'm saying we make this a priority. Like me and Jake are quite busy in our schedule now, but we would start doing our 6-hour bar session from 10 o'clock at night and do it till 4 in the morning. We'll give up sleep to do bars because we know how much it changes for us. So the whole, like what the bars does for your body, like me and Jake, we can work constantly. Like we don't actually get tired. Like sometimes I'm working from when I get up to 10 o'clock at night just before bars. And I might have, all I'll have is dinner or all I'll have is lunch and that's all I have. I might have some snacks in between or just like tea and coffees. But other than that, I don't require to have like breakfast, lunch and dinner. If I eat breakfast, lunch and dinner, I actually feel tired. It actually makes you tired because you're overfeeding your body. So the bars it actually helps your body be more of what your body requires.
And what it's supposed to be, what your body's actually asking for.
Yeah.
Like we presume that we are our bodies. We're not our bodies. Our body is a body and we're an infinite being. Like the soul, you can relate to that. The bodies, you got to ask your body, what is your body capable of? Body, what are you capable of? That you haven't acknowledged. Acknowledge what your body is capable of and keep asking, body, what do you require to have here? Do I require to eat all this body or do I require half? Do I require a bite full? How much of it? And yes, you'll be like, nah, I don't want to do that. But after the meal, how do you feel? Okay, now the next meal, say, okay, again, do I eat half the food? Do I eat a couple of bites? Do I eat all of it? And then you're like, nah, I don't want to do it. And then, but then again, how do you feel after? Okay, the times that my body told me to stop, after the meal, I feel phenomenal. I had energy. I still energy to sprint as much as I wanted. But if I finish even a few more bites extra, it makes a big difference.
Well, even like for yourself, try it. Like say if you like to finish your plate of food because you don't want to make, I don't know, whoever cooked the meal for you, you don't want them to be upset, or if it's a restaurant, you don't want to have that guilt trip of
or your grandma.
I know she gives you a massive plate where you have to eat it all. Try that, eat it all and see how you feel. And then the next day, eat what your body requires. And yes, your body may feel like it's still hungry, but that's where you want to be as well. Because if you go to the point where you're overeating, that's when you kind of get tired, your awareness starts to get put down, things start to occur that normally wouldn't occur. Your body actually desires to have that kind of, it's kind of got that food, but it doesn't want to be over full. Like you want to stop.
It's like when you're driving a car, you're filling it up in petrol. Now, if you go over full, it's coming out. It's spurring out. It's getting petrol everywhere.
Yeah.
And then, someone comes by, it's going to ignite everything and blow everything up. So, as in the same thing with that, if you feed your body too much, you're just going to blow up. And then you haven't got anything else to do apart from sleep.
Most of the time, when you do overeat, like the times when you're eating and sometimes there is food that is so good, and you just can't stop eating. After, like the time, once you finish finally eating, you actually feel disgusting. You feel like, I can't do anything. I can't move. I can't breathe, So just think you're doing a lot of stuff to your body that doesn't require you to do that. But that's also an entrainment. And the bars actually, the more bars you do, the more body processes, questions that we're kind of sharing with you, they actually help you getting out of those entrainments and things. Because eating is kind of an entrainment. It's kind of like if you were to take food out of the equation, what would people do? When you go see someone to catch up with a friend or someone, and they always say, let's go to dinner, let's go get a drink. If you took food,
it's all about eating.
Yeah, it's all about eating. Like everywhere you go, even for me, when you go out with someone, they pick you up, you go somewhere, they're like, what are we going to have for lunch? It's not about getting to your destination and enjoying, like, say, the hike or the scenery or the thing. It's all about, what are we going to have for lunch? What are we going to have for dinner? So we've kind of been trained that the food aspect is all we're meant to be focused on. instead of enjoying the other things around us.
And when I go on shoots, filming guitar of consciousness stuff, I don't eat beforehand at all. I don't have breakfast. So when you see me on top of a cliff somewhere, you're like, oh, Jake, how's he got so much energy? I don't eat nothing beforehand. Why? Because it wasn't just like a cold turkey thing where I just did it one day like that. Okay? You know, a lot of things, access bars, and also taking action. So before performing, I did a lot of performing in the streets back in the day. And when I started doing the dancing with the guitar, I noticed when I had breakfast and when I pushed myself dancing when I performing on the streets, that I didn't have much energy. And I asked questions in those times, like, how can I like this? How can I get tired so quickly? And it came to me like, maybe eat after. So then I didn't want to do that, but I did. So then I tried it. I tried it this day. And it was extremely difficult, but I did it. Why? Because, you know, I enjoyed performing so much. You know, I enjoyed when I lifted someone's spirits up when they saw how much effort I put into my performing. And when I started on the first day, didn't eat before performance, you know, yes, it was really uncomfortable and things showed up, but I had so much more energy. I really had so much more energy. The food doesn't give you energy. All I had juice, I had some drinks, and that's all. Doesn't matter how long the day went on and how long I wanted to get food. Like some days I spent 6 hours performing in the streets and I didn't have one bite of the food. Did I fall over and die and not have any energy? No. Though access bars really contributed to me getting to that. Access bars and taking action.
Well, like you said, it's I think one day me and you, I think actually when COVID started, just before when the first COVID kind of started, and both me and Jake, we couldn't actually, both our jobs at the time were, we worked for ourselves and we were required to see people and classes and whatnot. Jake used to be a bars facilitator as well. So he used to also do that. And then, so me and Jake were like, okay, what are we going to do for however long we're not allowed to be out? So me and him just ran bars for that's when we started doing our really long bars. I think we did like our first 10-hour bars on one person. And because we did 10 hours, when the first day we did it, we're like, we have to have our hand position. Like, I don't think I moved for 10 hours. I didn't do anything, didn't go toilet, nothing, didn't have a break. And so we kind of like survived 10 hours without eating. So that was the first thing. And we're like, okay, I actually wasn't that hungry. Like after we finished, yes, we went and had something to eat. But it wasn't like, you know, when you go out somewhere and people are like going so angry because they missed their lunch. Like say you're going to lunch and you can't find somewhere to eat and people are freaking out around you. They're going crazy for like 10, 15 minutes of not being able to get to food. Or like they order their food and they're like sitting there like, where's my food? How come it's taking so long? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And like you can really see that their universe is like, I'm going to die if I don't eat. You know, I know you know someone like that, and he may be you as well, that you have that, you behave like that too. And the same with us. Me and Jake used to be like that too. Yeah, like you'd go and you'd be like, you haven't eaten, you missed. And like if you were to look at it, like breakfast, if you were to have breakfast, lunch and dinner, there's not much time in between them. Like your body even hasn't had time to digest the other food before you're already eating again.
So
you're putting a lot of work on your body.
Constantly tired all day long.
Yeah. And that's the whole point. That's why people are choosing things that they don't like, because they're not choosing from a space of themselves. They're choosing from a space of, I just want to sleep. And that's what's actually really changed for, I guess, for me and Jake with bars. Like bars has really contributed. Like, yes, the tools and the questions and actions, they contribute with continuing it. But bars is the thing that actually helped you get there.
Like the foundation parts.
Because bars, the good thing about bars is you don't have to know what you have to change, right? So when it's about receiving as well, the bars. It's about teaching you how to receive. You just lie there. Someone touches your head, different points on your head, and it's just releasing all the stuff that's like, it's kind of releasing all the garbage that's not meant to be in your head. And that's what it's kind of doing. So it's not deleting anything of you. It's not taking any part of you away that's true for you. It's only taking all the crap. So it's taking the point of view that...
Taking all the crap, but leaving all the true parts and all the awesome bits. I'm in for that.
And that's just another thing that with Access Bars, we've been talking about bodies, but even if you just to look at bars, what it has done for me and Jake, is me and Jake are brother and sister. Me and Jake have multiple companies together. We work together very closely. We even live together. Me and Jake do so many things together, and our relationship is amazing. Like, I'm not saying we're perfect and that we never have disagreements. We do. But the difference is when we, like, we in the past few years, we have had points where Jake has come to me, screamed at me over some situation, or I've screamed at Jake, and it could have been a situation where we could have split our companies, ended our relationship, and it would have been done for, which has happened to a lot of people out there. That does happen to people very easily. If you have an argument with someone, it can be you have to end everything. But because me and Jake do bars on each other, because we use these tools of access consciousness, like when this occurred for us, we did have this once. We had this really massive argument. We actually even said we're splitting up our companies and we don't want to talk to each other ever again. And then, like, I think about 10, 15 minutes after that happened, I calmed down in that moment.
So
I asked some questions. Only 10 minutes. I only took 10 minutes.
Not 10 years.
And I went up to Jake and I go to Jake, look, I want to talk to you. Can you please facilitate me in what just occurred? Like, what did just, like, instead of looking at, they screamed at me, like, I could have looked at, Jake was an asshole. Jake screamed at me. Jake told me off. I got to hate Jake now. I want to get revenge on Jake. Jake has to apologize to me because he yelled at me. I didn't look at it from, like, a victimization point of view. I looked at it, that occurred for whatever reason. What had to change there? And that's why it got me so infuriated, because I wasn't willing to change in some aspect. So that I knew, I got the awareness, okay, cool. I'm not going to fight with Jake. If we have to end our company fight, that's what it results of. But I was like, I require facilitation here of what would just happen. I went up to him like, Jake, could you please facilitate me of what just occurred then, and what was this about? Like, what was it really about? Most of the time when you have an argument with somebody, it's not actually what they're talking to you about, the issue. It's about something else. And most of the time, it's not even about you.
A lot of miscommunication.
It's miscommunication, and it's never personal. You're just the person that's in the...
Like, easy target.
Yeah, exactly. So when I asked Jake for the facilitation, we got to the point where I was like, okay, things are changing, and I just got uncomfortable with certain changes, and that's why I got so angry when I didn't have to be angry. It was as simple as that. He changed that within 10 minutes, maybe even less. I got the awareness. And I even said, look, Jake, I reacted to you in a way I probably shouldn't have reacted. What would it take for us to have more ease with each other? And Jake was like...
we've always grown since then.
And Jake was like, that's cool. Jake didn't hate me. I didn't hate Jake after that. We never spoke about it. We cleared what was happening in that situation and we moved on. And that actually allowed us to grow even further. And without access bars, that's probably something that would not have been able to occur with us.
Well, like the access bars is like like having a computer that runs cleanly, does whatever you want it to do. It's kind of like having, your computer technician come in and clean out all the stuff that's on the computer that shouldn't be there, not allowing it to run correctly. So when you get that done, that's like us for our bodies. The access bars points on our head, you hold these certain points, and it clears all that crap that shouldn't be there, like crap as in the points of view about, this is the way my body should function. This isn't the way my body shouldn't function. All those points of view are on that little topic. That's one little topic, not all the other topics. Get collected in our body and it's got locked in there. So we're having all these points of view locked in there and we don't know what to do anymore.
And it even helps with, like, say, relationships. Like me and you have a different type of relationship where we're actually kind and caring toward each other.
Well, we couldn't get along before.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we couldn't get along with each other.
I couldn't. If I said to Jake, your head's not straight enough, which I used to, he would just scream at me. Like, he'd be like, you bitch, get away from me, don't talk. And he would not talk to me for a whole week. Like, I mean, this is when we were like teenagers. and he would just not speak to me. It was just insane. I would go up and say hello and be like, no, I'm not talking to you. Just because I said his hair wasn't straight enough, and vice versa. It's like your siblings or even like your partners or certain people in your close family, you all know what to say to each other, what button to push to really get that person angry. You just know, you all know it, and other people know it for you too.
Why'd you leave that towel on the bathroom floor for?
You do certain
That could
things.
be so disrespectful.
But that helped to change it. Me and Jake, like, it's not saying we still do things to aggravate each other, but it's just like, now I'm like, we don't.
Instead of being a whole week or millennium, it's 10 minutes.
Or sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes I see something that he's done and I'm like.
10 seconds.
In my head, I'm like, what the hell? And then after that, I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. I use the clearing statement in Pock and Pod. You can use a short version of Pock and Pod.
So the clearing statement.
I just say Pock and Pod Jake.
Maybe talk about the clearing statement.
Huh?
Talk about the clearing statement.
So the clearing statement, the full clearing statement, you can actually go to theclearingstatement.com to see what Pock and Pod is. But it's basically a clearing statement in access consciousness, and it helps to clear. So you can kind of, like, even if you're feeling crap, you can go, everything this is bringing up for me, Pock and Pod, Pock and Pod, Pock and Pod. The full clearing statement is right, wrong, good, bad, Pock and Pod, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. So, so you know what to do when those situations happen, what you can do to change it.
So how do we run this clearing statement?
So it can be as simple as, say, like, you do, like, say, I'll use this as an example because we've been talking about this. Say, like, you do something at home that annoys me, okay? So, like, say you leave a mess on the table or leave your clothes somewhere, whatever.
Didn't pack away the dishes.
Yeah, or, didn't put the paperwork.
Left the towel on the bed.
Or
on your bed.
You put it in your room separate, but say if you left paperwork everywhere on my table or something, or, made a mess and didn't clean it up. Instead of me going to, like, I'm going to yell at Jake because he did this, instead I'll be like, okay, everything this is bringing up with Jake and everywhere this is upsetting me, destroy and uncreate all that, and then you'll say yes to yourself. Right and wrong, good and bad, Pock and Pod, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. And the thing is, when you do these tools, say if Jake, he left stuff all over my desk. This happens, like, I have my desk and people do like to put their stuff on it and they don't move it. And sometimes it does because I like my desk to be clean. But when
Some of you can relate to that.
When I tell these people, can you stop leaving stuff on my desk? It's like they just want to do it more. And they never want to take their stuff away.
True story.
But when I do, okay, everything this is bringing up for me, with people leaving stuff on my desk, you can name names if it's a certain person. Destroy and uncreate all that. Yes, right, wrong, good, bad, Pock and Pod, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. What I notice is they actually come and take the stuff off without me asking.
And you can also ask in that situation, like, what would it take to have a clean desk?
Exactly.
What would it take to have ease with my family members? What would it take to have ease with my employees or your co-workers? So they're the questions of access consciousness that we don't ask. Why? We don't ask them because we do not desire to have ease in our life. Have we ever asked for ease in our life? Like, what is the mantra of access consciousness, Bianca?
All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory.
And for some of you, when you first hear that, you're like, oh, my God, nah, I'm not having that. That's impossible. Nah. Who are you? I said that to one person on the street. I go, he was talking to me for something. I don't know, don't remember, but he said, I managed to say, all of life comes to us ease, joy, and glory. And he started screaming at me. What the hell are you on about, mate? I'm like, oh. So it aggravates some people because, like, people are like, oh, that can't be a reality. But it can. It can be a reality. Give it a go. I gave it a go. When I first heard about, all of life comes to me as John Glory, yes, it did infuriate me too, this and that. Didn't go up to anyone, though, and tell them about it. I just, like, okay, it's infuriating me. It's infuriating me. Why? There must be something there. If something is there must be something there for you. So if access, for access, if it brings lightness to you, like, oh, yes, what is this new thing? There's something there for you. But then if access comes up, you're like, oh, hate that. I don't want this play crap. there might be something for you. You got to keep asking questions. It's never going to come the way you think it's going to come.
And it's also about like Access Consciousness tools, because Access Consciousness is part of Access. Access Bars is the first class you can do with them, and then they have other classes with like different things to clear. It's not about that you have to do these things to be clear, but what it is, it's about when you learn these techniques, you can use them in your everyday life. So me and Jake, like I facilitate Access Bars, but that took me, like I was just doing Access Bars for personal use for probably 2-3 years before I chose to be a facilitator or chose to do sessions on people. So my main target was to just use it on myself. So you don't have to use these tools on you can have your own job, you can do whatever, and you just use these to assist you in that area. Like I remember when I first started to use the tools, I actually hadn't learned the Access Bars yet. My mum and my brother, they started listening to stuff on Access Consciousness, and they told me some tools. And I had one issue. Every job I've had, I've never actually had a problem with anyone at work, but in this job that I had, this one person just started to be really nasty toward me. And I had to work closely with this person. And I started to use this tool. You can use this tool in Access Consciousness. It's called Who Does This Belong To? Return this to sender with consciousness attached. So whenever you're feeling like crap, whenever you're feeling sore, whenever you're overthinking, when you're kind of not being, when you're not being you, you're not like, the times when you're not being happy, joyful, that's the times when you're not being you. So when I was at work, I used to do this. I used to go, who does this belong to? Return this to sender with consciousness attached. And I just kept doing it in my head throughout the day. This person that was a bit being nasty, like even other people could see that this person was being nasty toward me. This person ended up being sick for a whole month. The next day she called up and she's like, I'm just too sick. This person's never been sick. This person ended up having like a month off work. So I didn't have to see this person for a whole month. They signed me to a new person.
It doesn't get any better than that.
I know. And I think I just used the thing once. Like I was just doing it on a day and this person disappeared.
So what's that actually do? Who does this belong to?
So who does this belong to? So say example is we're like radio receptors if you kind of want to. So everywhere we go, we pick up all of people's pathways, pains, realities, insanities. Say if you walk past someone and they're feeling depressed, all of a sudden you feel depressed. If you're walking past someone and they're like, say their legs hurt, have you ever noticed that when you're walking and all of a sudden your legs just hurt and you haven't even done anything? Like you haven't fallen over, you haven't done anything strenuous.
Twisted anything.
Yeah, like you haven't done anything to actually cause that sort of pain, but all of a sudden you're like limping or you feel sore or you feel sad all of a sudden. Like you wake up in the morning, you're the happiest person ever, you're ready to, go ahead for your day.
Climb mountains.
And you get in the car and then all of a sudden you're like, I just hate life. You know what? If you've ever been in those situations, that's because you're picking up other people's stuff. And instead of because we're not actually taught this, we're not taught that we're just that aware that we pick up other people's stuff. But instead of being aware, be like, okay, cool, this person's sad today. Oh, that person's got a sore knee today. Oh, that person doesn't want to live anymore. Instead of being aware of what that is, we pick it up as ours because we think it's us. So we're thinking, okay, I'm sad and depressed now. Oh, my leg hurts. And then what you end up doing is you actually end up creating, I worked too hard yesterday. That's what it is from. So then you actually make a story of how you got it when you never had it to begin with. So when you do, who does this belong to? You're kind of saying, who does this belong to? You don't have to know who it belongs to.
Any for feeling or emotion.
Yeah.
That comes up for you.
And then you go, return this to sender with consciousness attached. Now, when you return it back to them, what you end up doing is you return it back to them with consciousness. So you're giving it back, you're returning it back to them saying, look, you have a choice to change this to something different if you choose. And
wherever it come from, if you add the return to consciousness attached, with consciousness attached, they can't spread that to anyone else. They have to resolve it themselves. So when you say return this to sender with consciousness attached, whatever, if someone had a pain and they were spread, if they were walking the streets and everyone was picking up this pain from this person, okay, now if those people said return this to sender with consciousness attached, it would return to the person that actually had the pain. And then they wouldn't be able to spread it out anymore. I know, yes, it does sound a bit, bit out there, but give it a go and see what happens. Once I was walking up this pathway and they had these workers, these council workers, and they were in the bushland doing some stuff. And my legs really started hurting, like my calves. And I was doing Access a couple of years into this, and I learned that tool, Who Does This Belong To? And it took me a while, like I didn't get it straight away. About probably 20 minutes to half an hour into the walk, like after picking up the pains, I came to realisation, I'm like, because once I picked up the pains, I saw those council workers working, and I saw them straight away, but it didn't come to me at that moment. It didn't come to me like, you're picking up pains from those council workers straight away. It didn't come to me like that. It came about half an hour later. I'm like, hold on a sec. Is this really mine? I'm like, oh yeah, that tool from Access. Oh yeah, who does this belong to? And then a thought came to my head. Oh, it's those workers. They must have been working a long time. They were sitting down. It must have been from them. Okay, truth, was it from them? Okay, return it to sender with consciousness attached. I did that a few times, and I did it a few times, and I forgot everything about everything. Why? Because it cleared so quickly that my brain couldn't comprehend what was going on. I actually realized a few hours later when I was home, I'm like, oh my God, my legs, that pain went away. Oh, whoa, that actually does work. And I'm like, oh, this is phenomenal. I'm like, whoa, I don't have to buy into this. When something shows up, I don't have to think it's mine anymore. And ever since that day, I've always asked, when any pain comes to my body, I've always asked, who the hell does this belong to? Return it to sender with consciousness attached. And though I didn't get angry at those council officers. If I got angry to them, how can they do this to me, this and that? I didn't go into that. If I went into that, it wouldn't have cleared. I just acknowledge, yes, I did pick it off them. Great. It cleared. How does it get better? And because I didn't attach to no one, I didn't make anyone bad for whatever they did, then the universe could provide me with more information of how to pick up and how to let go of pains in the future. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I know there's so many stories as well that, even in Access Bars classes that I've done, I'll ask people questions if they've got, because you learn this tool as well in the class. And I like to tell people, ask them, if you got any pain, we can actually do this exercise in class. And some people, they've got severe pain. You do this, you just say to them, okay, who does this belong to? Return to center of consciousness attached. There might be a few other things that add on, and then you ask them, are you in pain still? And they're like, no, it's gone. And this is a pain they've probably had for 10 years. And it's gone within seconds of doing a few processes.
But when those certain people, yes, it does happen straight away. But then, half an hour later,
they can come back, yeah.
It'll come back because you have the point of view that it can't be that easy, okay? Remember, we have an entrainment that once you get pain, you have to have...
you have to go for a lot to get out of it.
Yeah. So yes. This isn't just like opening the book and knowing the whole book instantaneously.
Yeah, it is about continuously, things, it does come back.
Yeah.
Because again, yes, like you said, you don't believe that it can happen that easy. And that's how we use it in everything. Like, it is as easy as asking a question. Like, it's even written in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. So they've actually put in the Bible, anything you ask for, you can receive it. But you've just got to be willing to ask the question and just allow it to show up however it shows up, without an attachment. And even if it does happen straight away, be like, yeah, cool, that it can happen that quickly.
And just ask, use another tool from Access, the question, how does it get any better than that?
Well, yeah, how does it get any better than that? So that you can use any time. So say something good happens. Say you do get some money coming in that you weren't expecting from, say, a paycheck or actually working or something. You can ask, how does it get any better than that? Because when you ask that question, you're kind of opening up for more to show up. Doesn't mean that you're going to get more money, but it might mean that something else will happen that you've been asking for. Remember, everything you ask for can show up. You can ask for a million different things. It all will show up. But it's just when you're willing to have it show up to you.
Or what you're willing to receive.
And it's also with that, you've got to stop saying it hasn't shown up today. Because see, the thing is, we ask for certain things. So you might ask for all these things that you want in your life. But then the thing is, it hasn't happened quick enough. So then it's like you planted the seeds and now your asks are starting to grow. Then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, this didn't happen. So then what you do is like you kill your plants. It's like you pull them out of the ground, kill them.
And you're like, are you growing?
And
like,
then
you got them in your hand. They should be in the soil.
So they've gone now. You've killed your ask. So then you have to ask again.
So you got to replant them.
So if you keep saying this isn't showing up, that's you saying, it's like when you make an order at the restaurant, right? You make an order, I want a pizza, I want garlic bread, I want a Coke. And then they're making it, they're getting it ready for you in the kitchen. It's just about to come to you and you're like, oh, hold on a minute, I don't want that now, I want this now. So then they cancel the order. It's the same thing in your life when you're asking these questions. You ask for it, it's getting prepared in the kitchen, just, metaphor. And it's just about to come to you, but just when they're just about to hand it over to you, you're like, no, I don't want it. It didn't show up. I want something, like it's not showing up, and you stop it. Then the kitchen takes it back.
Then you have to reorder something else.
Exactly. But the thing is,
constantly,
you're not reordering because you're thinking it didn't work. I'm not going to do it again. Instead of
just waiting for that little bit, like that time where it's about to, the universe provide for you what you asked for. That time when it gets really uncomfortable, it's like, oh, I got to, it's not happening, but that frantic spot, that's when it was just about to show up. That spot where you're like, this is it. It can't happen anymore. That's when it was just about to show up.
Yeah. So if you just can get past that point, and that's when you can use the tools. Like say when I get to that point, I might ask Jake to do my bars, or I just start to do processes or questions. What else is possible here? How does it get any better than this? What would it take to have ease with this? We never ask that question, what would it take to have ease with this? We always think that we have to go through hard.
We've been taught by everything out there.
It has to be hard.
It's about the trauma and drama.
I know now for trauma and drama, like another thing as well with Access Bars is the trauma and drama in my life is so minimal now. Like when I watch movies now, certain movies, and they have because it's all about trauma and drama, I just have to turn them off now because I'm like, this isn't fun to watch. This is just so not fun. Like them having the drama of this happening and this happening and then this, and then that person forgives them and they get, for me, it's kind of like, this is a joke. Because like, this is not fun to watch because I've kind of taken that drama of like, this doesn't work for me anymore. And that's what Bars has contributed to me. And it's also contributing the fact that I don't attract the people that desire drama. I was easily willing to let go of the people in my life that all they care about is the drama. And now I can find people that it's not so much about the drama anymore. It's more about enjoying life, enjoying possibilities, and I just wanting to have fun.
Ask for yourself who to be around that is going to contribute to you truly having that ease show up. Like, if I go out with this person, what will my life be like in 5 years? Did that camera turn off?
Yes, it did.
Keep talking.
Like what my life be like in 5 years if I choose this? If I don't choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? Do you want to go ask him just to see if you can put that back on?
We've got about five minutes left.
I can cut to that one.
All right. So that question, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? Why the 5 years? Well, it goes beyond your mind. The 5 years, the brain can't calculate what the outcome is going to be. So by you asking, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? You'll get the awareness of what that choice is going to create for you. And then ask, if I don't choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? And then again, you'll get the awareness of what that choice is going to create. And that can be a phenomenal tool for you to choose actually what is going to work.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like these tools, they do so much change for, but it's also about, are you willing to have the change too? Some people, they want change in their life, but they don't want to lose certain things in their life too. So it is about asking questions, what's going to be contribution to yourself?
And what is the gift in losing that you haven't considered? What is the gift in losing that you haven't considered? We're always
we're always thinking that if we lose this person, we're not going to have anything better, rather than being, what would it take? Like, say if you have a friend and you're like, oh, I put up with their crap because I'm scared I'll never have a friend like that, or I'll never have a friend that I can just call. But what if you didn't allow that person to treat you like that anymore and was like, you know what, if I'm all by myself, does it matter? For me, I let go of a lot of friends because it was just too much trauma and drama. Like, it was all about just the bitchiness, the drama, the trauma of everything. And it just became like it wasn't fun to be around these people. Like, I actually saw these people and I was like, I felt worse seeing these people than I did before I saw them. So I'm like, why am I going to go hang out with people that I feel crap after I see them? And then it takes me 2 days to recover.
We get sucked into it.
You know what I mean? But then you go see certain people and then, like, you may have been like, okay, you go see these people, you're like, oh, I had so much fun. You go home and you're like, that was the best time I've ever had in my life. Those are the people you want to hang out with more. You
have to ask for those people.
And you got to ask. What would it take for more of what people that are going to be a contribution to my life expanding? Instead of thinking...
expanding. We don't ask that to expand.
Instead of thinking, I can't find anyone else better. Like,
see, that's where you put the full stop on your reality, saying, oh, I can't go beyond that.
Yeah.
And the universe is like, oh, he doesn't want any more. And it stops you receiving. By that simple what you just said.
Exactly. And also what I just add in as well, what Access Bars has really contributed, well, for me anyhow, is that it got you out of the victim. So, when you have, like, say if you are in a relationship and it's not going good and you make it all about, oh, they're treating me like crap, or you're in a friendships when you're like, oh, I always feel crap around these people. And then, or like, say if you haven't got money in your life, you're like, oh, it's because of this or it's because of that, or it's because, a lot of people like to blame the economy, the society, this is happening, so you're always playing this victim card, right? But no one's actually just taking action and being like, okay, I have no money in my bank account because I actually spend it all on nonsense. Like, I see a lot of my friends and stuff, they're on their phones buying stuff and I'm like, what are you buying? Like, I ask them because I'm curious. I'm curious to see what people do and what their behaviors are, because these people complain about their money aspect, but then they're buying, I'm like, oh, I'm buying this toy for my dog so they can play with. I'm like, okay, cool. How much is it? Oh, it's $50. But then I have a class and they're like, oh, your class is too expensive. I'm like, okay. But you just spent $50 on something you're going to give your dog to chew and you're going to have to buy another one in a few weeks. I have a dog. They destroy toys very quickly. So, like, we're always putting ourselves in like, oh, this is happening to me. These people are doing this to me. Well, in fact, you're doing it to yourself because, and that's what Bars showed me, is that you're not a victim in life because you put yourself in that situation. You put yourself to be hanging out with those people that are treating you like crap. That's your choice. You can be like, cool, this doesn't work for me anymore. See you later, people. You didn't have to have a fight with them. Like, I stopped talking to a lot of people that weren't working in my life. I didn't have a fight with them. I didn't tell them I never want to speak to them again. If they call me every now and then, I'll say hi. I'll still be kind. But I'm like, I'm not going to go hang out with you for 5 hours and destroy myself and be depressed just to make you feel good about yourself. I don't put myself in that situation anymore.
Works for you.
And that's about knowing that you're not a victim in your life. Like, if you don't have money to buy stuff, well, you'd be like, okay, cool, this week, this month, I'm not going to buy excessive stuff this week. Like, pull back a bit so I don't have to be in that position. So it's knowing that you're not the victim in your life and people aren't doing things to you. It's like you're putting yourself in those situations so people can take advantage of you.
When you're being that victim, you can't go anything beyond being the victim.
Well, you can't. You just constantly like, people are doing stuff to me, instead of being like, well, let's take action and let's change this, And that's what Access Bars has contributed. It's actually allowing for myself to see that everything that happens in my life that I don't like, it's not someone doing it to me. It's me doing that to myself. Because you always have a choice. You always have a choice in no matter what you do.
Yeah, we think we don't have a choice in this reality. Everyone's like, oh, this just happened to me. I had no choice, Yes, before Access, I thought that too. But then Access taught me you have infinite choice. And it took a while to, I'm not expecting you to pick this up straight away. It took me a while. I didn't make myself bad or wrong for it. I'm like, I'm going to keep going with this. This is something new. It's a different language. And, infinite choice. And I've learned that with our companies, that, if you stuff up, you can make another choice. If you lose some money here, you can make another choice to make more money somewhere else. It doesn't mean, okay, this company lost $1,000 here. Now this same company has to make $1,000 so I can feel good about myself. No. Okay. If you're okay with this company losing $1,000, then you have another company, you have another job that makes you $2,000 in a different way. But then you're like, I can't receive it like that. It's got to be this way. I lost the money here. I got to win the money here. It's like the gamblers, you go into the tab, everyone's in there like, I got to win my money back. Where? At the place you lost your money. If you're asking to win your money back, how come you're in the same place where you lost your money? Go somewhere else and win your money. So no one asks that. Everyone presumes that if I lost my money here, it's like you're on the street and $100 bill flies out of your wallet. Are you going to search in this same spot for like forever? Or are you actually going to go out there and fight and get another $100? So we're thinking like, okay, if I look through the shrubs enough, I'm going to find it. But maybe it blew away down the road. But we're stuck in this spot because if we lost it around this spot, we have to stay here now. Why don't we just get out of that place and go somewhere else to receive that money?
Yeah, I like that. It's very, very different to what we've been taught in how we have to function in this reality. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, they're just small things. Like, they're just little things that have done for, like, even though they're massive topics we're talking about, what Access Bars has contributed. And, it's just, there's no words to describe what Access Bars has done for me. Like, without it, like I wouldn't really know what life would be like without Access Bars now, because the way I see life now and the way that, it's just like, it's like you have such a freedom, you have such a sense of peace, and I'm just gonna be so grateful for Access Bars and Gary Douglas, the person that helped create Access Bars and bring it into this world. Like, what they've gifted, this tool, it's just, what it gives you is beyond what it can do. And the best thing I love about it is when you receive these sessions, you just lie down and you just relax. You don't have to talk about your problems. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to tell the practitioner what's wrong. All you have to do is lie down and just receive, and magic happens.
And on that, we're in the topic, Access Bars. Any other, yeah?
Yeah, Access Bars. I do facilitate sessions and stuff, but I'm not the only person. I know our podcasts get worldwide views. If you go onto Access Consciousness website, you can actually go up to facilitators and you can search Access Bars practitioner or facilitators and find someone to get a session. Try it out. The worst thing that can happen, just even give it a go and see what happens. You don't have to learn it. That's a choice.
No, don't do it. It'll be way too much fun. Way too much ease, way too much glory, way too much joy. Don't do it. I'm kidding.
But yeah, it is worldwide. It's in 170 countries at the moment. So if you're in a different country, you could probably find someone And if not, maybe maybe learn it and you can be the person that does it there. So
Don't do that either. No.
Anything's possible.
It's only for Jake and Bianca.
It's only a 1-day class and you can actually start doing sessions too. So one day you make an investment, you become a certified practitioner and you can actually go around and do sessions on people all around. So.
And on that, thank you for joining us and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.